We want to help you, Mr. Valentine. My brother and I run a privately funded program to rehabilitate culturally disadvantaged people. We'd like to supply you with a home of your own, a car, a generous bank account, and employment with our company. But there's a catch. You'll have to listen to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have the founder and CEO of Global Contact Services, GCS. He is the author of 7 Dumb Things We All Say and speaks to thousands of people each year on improving verbal communication at work. Thrive Loud listeners, today we're going to learn to say this, not that, because we have Greg Alcorn on Thrive Loud. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Hope you are. I'm looking forward to it.
Coming to us from North Carolina.
That's right.
I am which he says there is no accent, which is good to know because I haven't heard anything. So
Me neither, y'all.
y'all, by the way, my favorite contraction of all time. I actually use it, and people have asked me all the time. You're from Brooklyn, New York, right? So I go, y'all understand that. That's really important.
And
so.
Use the plural of it is all y'all.
All y'all. So you've had an extensively interesting career, and I don't want to go all the way back to the very beginnings, but I want to kind of focus because I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell's, I guess, you do everything 10,000 times.
Yeah.
You've been doing things for thousands of times, listening to people.
That's right.
Having them speak all day. So why don't we talk about that, and that will bleed into how your communication at work is and the things that you've picked up are effective in helping businesses and companies all over the place.
Yeah. Well, GCS, we're in the business of customer service, so we try to practice the definition of sanity, of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. We do 30,000 conversations every day. So our other principle is that the micro is the macro. So that got me really interested in communication skills and the small things that can make a difference, like sentence bookends, what we begin with and end with that might be powerful or annoying. But just being able to spend time on getting 1% better at a conversation and multiply that. We have about 1,000 employees, and just that multiplier effect of being able to use that or take something away that can help in a conversation. For example, a couple years ago, we learned that if you say your name last in an introduction, you have a better chance. The person that you're talking to has a better chance of remembering it. Thank you for calling customer service. My name is Greg. Instead of saying, this is Greg, thank you for calling customer service, then you forget my name. And then, so that was the intro part of it that really kept it. We saw customer satisfaction inch up a little bit on that. There's no magic bullet, but there's some shining ones out there, and this is one of them that really helped us.
I want to drive into one point that I hear you're onto. You're trying or striving to eliminate certain words in the English vocabulary. Can you share with the listeners what these words are?
Oh, golly. Well, let me personalize that. I'm working very hard right now on eliminating 4 words from my vocabulary: no, so, try, and just. I went to see a friend in the hospital a couple weeks ago, and I said, I'm not going to say I just wanted to drop by. And what I do, I walked in the door and I said it. I just want to start by. So I diminished the reason I was there. The just sort of diminishes it. So we did that. We talked about from elimination. The big one that we talked about is the 4 negatives on how to acknowledge a thank you. And that was no problem, no worries. It was nothing. It's the least I can do. And in our company where we do 30,000, you just catch yourself that diminishes when a person says thank you. We've coached everybody to strive to say you're welcome.
Mm.
And that's all positive, and that complements the compliment.
Correct. Greg, I want to ask this question because this is a word I use a lot. So, S-O.
Right.
Why is so a word we want to eliminate?
It comes across as an interrogation when done too many times. Now, you're a pro. You're a pro connector. You wrote the book Master of the Art of Connecting, which I ordered, and you understand that variety is the spice of a conversation. Okay. If you use it every time, I have people in my life who say so at the beginning of almost every sentence, and it comes off as an interrogation. That's and this is really cool about this, Lou, is that the name of our training session is "Say This, Not That" most of the time, and it's real important for that most of the time, because you're in the Northeast, I'm in the South, the people over there and on the West Coast, we all have different words that might be considered powerful, or might be considered taboo, and so isn't always bad. This is just something that I observed and wrote about.
I love this, and it's actually interesting because I totally am with you. Obviously, on no, I'm going to share a personal quick story. A certain family member of mine, who I won't mention because he'll kill me. That's all I have to say. He'll just in a conversation. Even when he's excited about something positive, we'll talk about, wow, that was the greatest concert I've ever seen. And he'll start off and go, no, you don't understand. Right. And you're right. It's actually, it's in that sense, he's being positive. He's actually in agreement using the word no. But then again, it is negating that person. And I am also on the bandwagon of try, because I'm in the Yoda world, right? There is no try, just do.
Yep.
And I just used the word just, and probably said the word no as well. So
it's all right. Hey, how do you like to be me?
Oh,
I can't say anything.
I guess I want to put this in there from all these conversations that you're having from a customer service point of view with your organization. Changing the way you communicate to your clients is one thing. The way you have a conversation with another individual might yield these things coming out. Are there certain words that you're hearing, those that you are serving on the other end of the phone, that come out more often than not, that can almost be reflective? We do have reflective conversations a lot. So when people say something like our y'all opening when we came in here, how do you work with your people to help them change the language that your customer service people are
awesome
coming back?
What a question. You first of all have to create an awareness, because we just go down the path and don't even think about soft skills. I mean, in today's world, of online head down, ping me world, soft skills aren't really thought about. In golf terms, it used to be that somebody that had soft skills or great communication skills, that would be par, but now it's birdie. It used to be something, it used to be a qualifier to get in. Now it's a bonus. So we have a heightened awareness of that it's coachable, and that we can look at things that we say and things that we hear. And the principle we try to practice is listen for things that are negative or passive, and strive to turn them into positive and active. Something as simple as they ask, well, when, what are your hours? And, and a negative way of saying that, well, we close at 5. And by the way, we do in our reservations up in New York, where you are, that we close at 5. Now, we don't say that anymore. We say we're open till 5. Something as simple as that,
right? That
we hear that it just makes it more positive. That you look at things that can help the person have a better perspective of what we're talking to. And then the last thing, at the end of every conversation, now instead of saying, "Is there anything else we can do for you today?" Well, what's the answer to that one? Our favorite 2-letter word. No, that's what we want. Instead, ask, has this been helpful?
Right.
And you get a yes. And it's just being able to have positive little things like that. Yeah, we listen for those. Like,
I love this, and I'm gonna give you something to work on, because I love making this a two-way conversation in that theme. When I'm working with people and helping them connect better and helping to connect their voice, soft skills, worst word in the entire world. These are the super skills.
I love it.
Because I don't believe that you succeed with these, what used to be soft, because we used to, not recognize them as the concrete things that deliver. The reality is these are the superpower skills that we need to be able to be master connectors and drive things. So I'm sure that could
Thank you.
I'm trying. Look at this. I can't wait for the in the next book that you put together as it comes out. I want to jump to the dumb things.
Okay.
Share with the listeners one of the dumb things that we all say.
One of the dumb things we all say, and we all do it differently, is what are called bad bookends.
Okay.
Or does that? I had one. I write down. I carry a little book around with me all the time, and continue to write down. And here I got 4 yesterday. One was "Come see me," and one was "You bet." Instead of saying "Thank you," he said "You bet," and he called it on himself. I had a person that was giving me a T-shirt yesterday, and 4 times at the end of her bookend, at the end of a sentence, she would or something she was telling me, giving me instructions, she would say, "Does that make sense?" Something as this wasn't quantitative, calculus or whatever this stuff is. You tell I'm not very smart, but it caught me off guard. It was talking down to me about, does it make sense that we gave you a medium shirt then instead of a large shirt? Does that make sense? Yeah. And the one that one of the college students that I was talking to a college class, and he said, the thing I say a lot is, "I'm just saying," at the end of it. He said it sort of the way when he said it, he said, the reason I said it was it gets me off the hook for anything that if I'm recommending for somebody to do something in a relationship, and then I end it with "I'm just saying," it means I'm not taking responsibility for it. I thought that was wonderful. But the bookends, right at the end of a sentence, with the people that say right at the end of every sentence, right, and they keep talking, right, and it gets very annoying, right. That's conversational bullying. Let's keep it going there that way. So the bookends are big. Pre sentence, and post sentence. The little things we do in front and behind that we can work on. And I just gave you some negative ones. There's some very positive ones too in the book that help us with our conversations.
I by the way, I love this, and this is so up my alley. I love hearing these conversations, and I'm sure our listeners are plugging in, thinking, "Oh my God, I say this so often," or "I do that. Oh my God, now I'm going to be more conscious of it." Let's talk about your business in a sense, because this is more of an overarching Uber conversation I want to get to. Unfortunately, people aren't picking up the phone that much anymore, right?
Yeah.
But in the instance that you're dealing with them, they are, because they have a problem. And you're dealing with people that are coming into a situation, probably in most cases with, I don't want to say negativity, but they're frustrated. They're down. I guess my way of spinning this, you're judging, because you record a lot of these calls for training purposes. We all hear that.
That's right.
As you look through all of this, can you tell from the tone or the words that your clients or people are calling in that you're dealing with, that you've been successful? Are there certain words that you're able to detect at the end of the conversation from how they came in at the beginning that know that your team has done a good job?
Yeah. Affirmation. We look for ways to ask our customers if we're going down the right track. If this is this what you're looking for? Is this what you want? We have one of the great ways of the seven dumb things is the how to diffuse difficult drama or stressful situations. And we had the 7 most powerful words as far as the questions that ask when things are going south. When you hear that tone of discomfort or anger, it's what would you like to see happen? And asking that question, and it's just sort of it stops and creates more of a fact-finding, forward moving conversation that we picked up on that, and that's one of our go-tos when you're talking to somebody that's got a real issue, and they do.
Diehard Thrive Loud listeners would know. Sometime in 2018, we had Cy Wakeman on. She is the No Ego guru. That's one of her books, No Ego, and she worked in a hospital, and she talked about how much drama there was in the workplace and issues of colleagues getting along better. And one of my favorite moments that she deals with to get people, because when physically and chemically what's happening when you're in a negative situation or a rut, you're actually in your frontal lobe. Mm-hmm. And when you ask a really powerful question, like just as you just did there, well, what's the result you're looking to see? Or she'll say, what would make this situation best?
There you go.
And what actually happens is in your brain, you leave the frontal lobe and you go more to the upper cortex of your head, and you actually start coming up with creative solutions. And just by doing that, the chemicals that are released in your body are more positive and more endorphin-like than the negative stuff that you've been missing out on.
That's terrific.
I love how you've now been able to use something from being in the seat of listening to transpose that to skills to help not just the people in the customer service world, but you obviously go around and speak to those in leadership positions, sales positions, and this is all applicable to them. How has that experience been for you?
It's been great. I mean, it's an experience. When you look at the name of the book, it's a kind of a negative name, The 7 Dumb Things We All Say. And that is an autobiography, by the way. But,
well played.
The subtitle of it is Smart Ways to Improve Every Relationship. And when I'm able to talk to managers or supervisors or, peers about super skills and how we communicate with one another, almost invariably the examples that they use are personal or something. You just did. You did it earlier with your family member.
Yes, it's my son. We'll make it specific. It's him.
Yeah,
the nose. Yes,
but it's
throwing you under the bus.
Okay. But it applies. It applies to so many all different types of relationships. So that's the feedback I get.
I love asking this question of all the guests that come on the show, Greg. You've got a great company, thousands of people working. You've got a great brand and message, and you're helping people in such a simple way. I say that not in a negative tone. I say that this is like so important to the things that we do, and it's something that's really, as you said, coachable.
Yeah.
However, and obviously you're living in Carolina, which is like golf heaven and perfect weather, obviously aside from a couple of hurricanes here or there. That's With all of that though, we sometimes have days that we're not kicking on all cylinders. On those days when you're not thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving?
Oh man, what a great question. I've been married to my wife for 30 years. And she's become a real good sounding board for me. I created a practice that works for me about a year ago. That's a 4-step process when things are going bad. And I practiced it a couple days ago when we had a stressful situation with one of our clients, and it was wearing on me personally. And so I had 4 things I do. That first part is think about it. And I just started, I created an awareness that, man, I am not being productive. I am moping around. This is not good. So let me think about this for a little bit. So that's one. The second thing is write it down. I'm a writer. Like pen and paper. I'm a nonlinear thinker. I've taken a lot of psychological tests that tell me who I am, and it ain't going to change. and so I do better when I can longhand write stuff and point everybody does it, where you're doing nonlinear thinking, and that really helps me. And I write down all the scenarios that are out there for me, at least I think about. Then I go to my trusted sources. I've got 7 VPs. The average length of time they've been with me is 12 years. The average is 12 years. And I can go to them. They know I'm cool with wearing my emotions on my sleeve, and being able to talk that through. So that's the third one. And then the fourth one is just what you said about we're not try people, we're do people, and go out and do something. And
I love it, by the way. And kudos to you for coming up with them. You like things in 4s.
I do.
Yeah. And 7s, but those are the bad habits. So
there's 7,000 of them for me.
That's so true. Let's jump to the admin part of the show here, and we're going to have more fun. We've been having fun since the very beginning, Greg, but I just want to get this part out of the way. Share with the listeners all the places they can learn more about Greg Alcorn, GCS. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always comes better when they hear it from you.
Thank you. Our global contact services, it's GCS Agents. That's plural, gcsagents.com. It's got all kinds of information about our company on the website, gcsagents.com, and has a resource part of that, or tab on that you can get to me. And then LinkedIn, anytime, I look at LinkedIn a lot. We advertise on LinkedIn a lot. We recruit on LinkedIn. So that's my commercial for LinkedIn. And so just it's Gregory Alcorn and LinkedIn, and those are the two go-to places for. We're also on YouTube. Got some. We don't take I think you can tell what we do is very serious, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And we have some YouTube videos that are meant to be a little bit humorous, a little bit quirky about customer service and soft skills. They're on there too.
All right. But you know what? Maybe we'll, the team's been having fun putting on the landing page some fun videos. Maybe we'll drop one of those on there. So
there you go.
Get a feel for that. And we'll put all the other show notes and all the social spots as well.
Thank you.
Let's do this, because I am really curious.
Oh.
I know where I want to lead this conversation to, so I'm going to start with something ahead of time.
Okay.
I noticed before we started recording, you have a saxophone behind you.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what kind of music you like. I'd like to learn a little bit more of that, and I'd love to share it with our listeners here.
Yeah, but saxophone. I'm a jazz guy, so I really like jazz. I also like alternative rock. So I've gotten into the Revivalists and Twitter and My Morning Jacket and the Disco Biscuits and places like that. You mentioned Gladwell, his book on the thing about it takes 10,000 hours to perfect something. It takes 20 hours to be proficient at it. And I've set a goal every year for the last 2 years, and going to hopefully do it forever, to take one thing every year and strive to be proficient at it. And this year it's drums. I'm
Nice.
playing the drums every night for about an hour, and I am getting better, at least from the one person that listens to it, which is me, and nobody else listens. But
the neighbors might disagree with you, but
yeah, at least it's electronic. It's electronic.
Okay, a little bit.
Yeah, I can turn it down.
I always joked about it with my parents. I actually I played a little bit of drums, not a lot, and when I was growing up, they didn't have the electronic technology. I would have loved the opportunity to have done that, because that would have been more fun to hit the pads and be able to play. So good for you though. So it's great. Okay, and jazz is your thing, so we like that. All right, good.
Yeah.
Good. Share with the listeners, Greg, your all-time favorite movie.
Oh yeah, there's it depends on which direction you want to go. I like the comedy, and I like what the Coen brothers have done. So the one that I can probably almost recite from the beginning to the end is Raising Arizona, which had Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter and John Goodman, and just a host of fantastic actors and quirky scenes. And I just loved it.
I was going to ask what connects most with you about that movie, because that, I will tell you, they have an interesting range of movies and they're brilliant. That's one of the more weird ones.
It is.
And I'm with you too. It's one of those it's almost we're a big fan of Bill Simmons' podcast, The Rewatchables, here on Thrive Loud. We mentioned because some movies are very rewatchable, but that's one of them in a weirdest of ways. So what is it about that movie that connects with you?
I think it's just the way, the tenor of the lines. Like when Nicolas Cage said that they couldn't have their own baby, and he says, "Her pelvis was a rocky place for which my seed could find no purchase." It's like, what the hell? Who writes that? I mean, it's just wonderful.
There is a part of that movie where my wife almost has a heart attack, when the crazy guy on the motorcycle and the baby is in the baby car seat, is in the car seat, and and is like literally being, somehow is safe through all this dangerous stuff that's going on, is completely unscratched throughout all of it. It's quite brilliant. And, Holly Hunter is great. So
you never leave a man behind.
Right.
It's left the baby out there on the road. It's hilarious.
So with this, I want to dive into what's next for Greg, because you're doing lots of cool things. You've got a real successful company. Thriving individuals and listeners out here always want to know what you're thinking about doing next and what's on the horizon for you.
We started a nonprofit called AppSeed, APSEED, AppSeed Early Childhood Education, where we're providing touchpads to children in poverty at 0 to 4 years old to prepare them for kindergarten, to prepare them to learn to read. It's not an e-reader. It's a pre-reader. It has apps on it that teach letters, colors, numbers, and shapes. And those are the 4 things it takes to be ready for kindergarten. And we're doing that. We've done 6,000. We've distributed and are keeping up with 6,000 children as they matriculate or whatever to kindergarten. And the goal is to do 300,000. So we're doing 6,000 in 4 different counties or school districts, where the school district is our client, our ultimate client on these. But to be able to provide them with a better product, a better student. So their children, we watch them and hope they become their age proficient before they get to school to be grade proficient. So that's the 1 Minute Manager book, the last chapter, the Tombstone Test. It's great that we do 30, 35, 40,000 conversations a day, but, to put something out there that might really help the communities where we work and live. Right now, that's the big thing I'm focused on is market penetration or market saturation of these areas of children. And these are children in poverty, children in poverty, to get them out of that cycle. That's next.
Thrive Loud listeners, those that are thriving in their lives, their businesses, and their passions, I think Mr. Greg Alcorn has bookended this without intentionally using or anything like that very well. And you now all understand why you Thrive Loud. Great cause, great things that you're doing, unbelievable business, successful story, and obviously a really cool way to help people improve the way they connect. Thank you so much, Greg, for your time today. This has been awesome having you on the show.
You're welcome. I really appreciate it. I thought it was awesome too.
Well, great. And to all the Thrive Loud listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond. Now that you've heard this amazing episode, you really need to subscribe and hear all our episodes. Head on over to thriveloud.com and subscribe on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Thrive Loud. Thanks for listening.